go.
I'd like to call to order the committee chairs meeting on Tuesday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. at the Greenfield City Hall Meeting Room and Zoom. This meeting is being recorded by the committee chairs. If any other person are doing the same, please notify me at this time. Anyone else out there? This purpose of this meeting is to prepare the agendas for subcommittees and for council consideration. No discussion or comments will be entertained unless requested upon by the committee chairs. Roll call.
President Gwynn.
Yeah.
Vice President Forgy.
Here.
Councillor Elmer.
Here.
Councillor Bullock.
Here.
Councillor Disorder.
Here.
Mr. President, you have the floor.
Great. Glad everyone could be here. Those of you that are joining us via Zoom. I just want to, before I go into my president's notes, just get everybody on the same page. It's my intention to clear as much off of our agenda for May as possible. Don't take it as any kind of committee slapping. All I would like to do is try to get the budget done in as little sessions as we have. So I want to go as far as I want to waive the mayoral comments and the superintendent comments and members of the municipality from our May meeting. So we'll come right out of roll call and formality and then right into public comment, and then from public comment into our agenda. The mayor will be available via Zoom on the Wednesday night meeting. So if we have questions from the budget meeting, she'll be there. So I just wanted to let everyone know, I talked to Chris about this, and I think I've mentioned it in passing to anyone I've talked to. The idea is only to get us streamlined. And you'll see all night, my aim is, can we move this? Can we move this? And if we can't, we can't, and that's understandable. But we have already voted, Kathy, remind me to end the May meeting at 11 or 11:30. I don't know if it's.
I think it was 11.
And that's it. So, and then we have the next night already scheduled for a meeting, which will be posted, and we'll resume where we left off. But I'm not going to rush the budget. I'm not trying to say we have to get it in one day, but if we do, we do. And if we don't have to have two nights that are, into the wee hours.
When you're done, I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
When we create the order to waive the rules of procedure, do you want us to say specifically items blank and blank so that we're not waiving it for the entire agenda?
Right.
We're just waiving
I think we'll waive those two to start, and then, the problem is, we have to look at new business as a matter of formality, because there could be something that someone wants to bring up that needs to be brought up. So we can't waive all of that, but we can look through and see if there's anything else that can be added to the waiving. And that'll be the first motion of business.
Okay.
Is to waive the rules of procedure for those. Any comments on that from anybody before I go? I just want to.
Great idea.
All right. All right. President's notes, I'll go down these quickly. Create a new ordinance to ban gas-powered leaf blowers. Obviously, that's coming forward from a citizen who put some work into it. If we follow procedure with this, they would need to get that sponsored by a counselor, and the counselor would have to then get the ordinance written, and then it would go to, if it got that far. A reminder to everybody, just because someone brings something forward does not mean we have to follow through. It's just a suggestion. I'm not going to act on this this month. You can take it up in June, I think, as far as that goes. If anyone wants to, if any other counselor, sees this and is interested in working on this, they can get in touch with Marianne. See where it goes. Motion for reconsideration. Obviously, the motion for reconsideration has to come very quick on our agenda.
We usually put them
first. Yep. I need like three things first, so that's always You have three number ones? I don't think so.
One A, B, and C.
So we're going to have the motion to take it out of order, then the motion for reconsideration. Request for City of Greenfield petition to create an alcohol liquor license for Tuckerman's Glass. So this historically has gone in different ways. It's gone to A&O. It's gone straight to the council floor. It's gone to EDC. It's gone to EDC. It's gone to A&O. So of the research that Kathy did for me, 2 times it's gone to A&O, 2 times it's gone to EDC, and 1 time it went right to the council floor because of a time constraint. I would think that it goes to EDC. That's where I think it would need to go. Any objection to that? Let's send it to EDC. If there's a time constraint, they'll get back to Kathy. I don't believe there is. That is for the garden, if you don't recognize the DBA. Yeah.
Does that need a public hearing?
It has had them, but it hasn't always had them.
There's no set policy at this moment where I would say that you could probably have a meeting and entertain public comment or something, Bill, but I don't think there's a formalized, there's no law saying we need a hearing.
Is there a law limiting the number of licenses in Greenfield?
There is.
And this exceeded?
It will.
We're petitioning, this whole thing is to petition the legislation to give us an extra one, basically.
It would have to go through the process. We would send it to the legislature. They would consider it and they would vote for or against.
Right. If the city council approves it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you can take this up. I would take it up sooner than later, only because it's probably got some, consideration behind it. So take maybe when's your next meeting?
Next Tuesday.
You want to talk about
We
it
have a
then?
public hearing then on the other thing.
Yeah. Do you want to take it up then?
Sure.
All right. Okay. You want to reach out to the,
You want the applicants invited?
Yeah.
Please.
Get it done.
Council Elmer, just work with Kathy on anything that you might need for that to make sure we're in, and we can look at procedure. But there is some stuff we have to do to get this to go to legislation. It has to have our vote. Schedule a second meeting for Ways and Means on Thursday after the regular meeting submitted by Councilor DeSorger. Is that something you still need to do?
Well, no, I just wanted that to be out there so everybody knew that if we don't finish, we'll have another.
Ways and Means.
Oh, no, I was thinking, I actually meant for another council meeting, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, so
Exactly, I did not mean for another.
so we are scheduling a council meeting, and
It's already on the calendar.
it's on the calendar, it's on the books, it's on,
Yeah, sorry.
for exactly what Ginny said, we want everyone to know what's happening so people aren't
Right.
like on Tuesday go, oh, I need to ask for more time off or what. Everyone knows that right now, unless we cancel it on Wednesday because we finished the agenda, we're having a meeting Thursday.
Thank you.
Status of issuing civil service. Oh, yeah. So Councilor DeSorger asked the same question that Councilor Forgy and I talked about, which is where had we left off in the process of removing this? Oh, I'm jumping ahead, aren't I? No. Oh, no. Nope. This is two different things. I'm sorry. I blended them together in my mind. So quick reminder to everybody, in order to remove the chiefs from civil service, they have to come out the way they went in. Yes?
Yes, however, that was when we were a town. Now that we are a city, the mayor has to propose it, the council has to vote it, and the legislature has to approve it.
We don't, it doesn't go to ballot this
It does
time?
not go to ballot.
So that's different from what we were instructed.
So I had originally said
Yes.
it would need to go on the ballot
The way, yes.
the way it was, and the last time that was in '03 when Gilbo became chief. We were still a town at that point. He then became chief and we
Just barely.
Just barely. We moved over to
barely,
city,
yep.
but we were a town. I was incorrect in giving you those instructions because we are now a city and it has to follow a different process.
I'm not trying to be argumentative,
Mm-hmm.
but what if the mayor doesn't propose it?
It has to come.
It has to come from the mayor? Okay. I'll have that
That's-
conversation with the mayor and see where it goes. Because I know that we talked about that from both ends. I'll find out from the mayor. The third assessor, that is part of that's part of the charter change, and that's still in the legislature.
It's at the legislature.
And there's no time frame because we checked on that for something else.
So we checked on that because when we were talking about the offices that would be on the ballot,
Yes,
so currently we have one assessor that will be on this year's ballot.
that's right.
The process is with the legislature. They have to, vote to approve and that sort of thing. I do have an email out to our legislatures.
And didn't they respond? They did respond.
They did respond saying that it hasn't gotten very far yet.
Yes.
They haven't even begun really working on it. It's not unusual for charter changes to take a year.
Oh, fine. So,
So they do know that we want to talk about it.
We did tell them why, and they said, basically, to paraphrase, that it probably wouldn't happen before the election is what.
Right, and
You
they
know,
can always, by request, however, maybe put some language in there saying that it would go into effect,
Right. All right. Approve the memorandum of understanding between the city of Greenfield and the City Hall clerical and library employees. What's this, Kathy, as far as?
It's an MOU, there's no, my understanding, it's just the MOU. This does not have finances tied to it at this point. That will come.
Do we need to take this up in May for any reason?
I believe the importance of having the council identify and agree with the MOU would be important for the union and the town and their agreement. But
Okay.
there's no finances tied yet.
So I'm just saying, does it need to be on May's agenda or could it wait till June?
I believe it should be May, but I can ask.
Okay. Any,
can that go right to,
Straight to council.
straight to council?
I think so.
If there's urgency, May straight to council. If not,
Straight to council in June.
June.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't
Straight to
think.
council either way.
Yeah, I think so. If not, if there's some reason not, then it would go, it would probably go to A&O, right?
Okay.
And then Mary Ann could look at it and see if there's, because there's no finances hooked to it.
Right.
The finances would go to Ways and Means whenever that came.
When the financial part of it comes, that would go to Ways and Means, but this is more of a,
Is this rather a formality? They've already ratified, right?
I'm looking.
Okay.
New. So the vote is to approve the MOU. There is a financial summary that is below, but it does not have a total figure with it. It's just outlining the step shifts, the step increases, and the longevity.
let's,
Still don't have an answer to your question, though.
all right. Maybe it should go to Ways and Means if their explanation is talking about.
That's the explanation, but no finance.
It's financial summarized
Yeah.
information. Let's send it to Ways and Means.
May?
No, I mean,
Now?
no,
Okay.
I mean-
I'll take it in June.
no, unless there's a reason it has to go, June is soon enough.
But I would do whatever, I would do whatever you ask.
Mayor has one.
Oh, fine. Mayor? If you're talking, no, you're muted. There you are. Yep.
It is mainly just to let you know that we have settled that contract.
Okay,
First year of the contract is covered in the FY '24 budget. It is the clerical unit, so it affects a wide range of the departments. So I think that's what Kathy's saying, in terms of, there's no financial,
immediacy then.
at this point. We made sure that it would be able to
So I
cover.
think what she said was it's covered in the operating budget for FY '24, so there will be no financial.
Okay, so send it to Ways and Means for June. All right. Appropriate 200,000 from general stabilization. That will go,
That should just, I think that should just go on.
That-
Floor.
that can
So
go to
that
the
is
council
first
floor.
reading, second
What do
reading,
you,
public hearing.
how do
and
you
vote.
think, you think that's fine?
Absolutely.
That's fine.
First reading,
Regular process.
first reading, second reading. But can we do that all in? We can't do it all in one meeting. It's going to have to take 2
Correct.
meetings. First reading,
First
second
reading,
reading.
second reading, public hearing.
vote.
and vote.
So it'll be a vote in June then. So that would be, we'll do that as soon as we can. We'll talk about it, but yes. Same for the free cash. No objection to that from either. Mayor's appointments. Are you meeting this month? You're not, are you meeting this month?
Like last month, I'm willing to cancel it if Ways and Means, because you guys are full, you have meetings up until our council meeting. So there really isn't anything on my agenda that needs to be pushed forward
So
this month that can't wait, and the appointments can go to council floor.
what's our time limit on this one? The Recreation Commission, when did it come in?
They become, they.
After 30 days or something?
35 days after we receive them,
Right.
and I will tell you.
It's an alternate short term to replace a person and then the
Alternate to.
alternate to full. Do we just want to put this on council floor?
I don't think there's gonna be problems with these appointments.
So if we put it in June, it'll be a moot point because it'll already have taken place. Because the time will have run out. So we either put it on the May itinerary, or you put it on the June itinerary, and
Doesn't
it
matter.
happens anyways. But as a matter of formality, we usually,
If you don't put them on the May, they would go into effect.
right?
Right.
Thoughts?
I would put it on the main, go right to
Okay.
the floor. That's my thought.
All right, we can go right to the May.
Council.
May council, yep. That vote will be, the longest part of that will be reading it. All right. EDC, Bill, you have a joint public hearing with planning,
Right here, on Tuesday.
and that's Tuesday.
Yeah. Now, I thought we could bring it to the council the next day, but I guess not. It's not, doesn't seem to be on the schedule. We can I think we have time to postpone it till June for the council.
You also might have that, if it's a public hearing, doesn't the planning board get to respond or something?
They're at the joint hearing, they're at it.
It's
Yeah,
a joint hearing.
but they
by
might not
zoning
vote
law
that.
40A, they have 25 days to respond. If you don't receive a response, you can progress. Or whenever they send the response, you can progress, but there's no guarantee that from May 9th.
June.
Yeah,
Because that 25-day rule is what I was.
They've already voted on it. They approved it unanimously.
They have
put
to-
it forward.
they can't put their formal vote until after the public hearing.
Got it.
So let's go to June.
All right. I'm looking now at the Board of License Commissioners sent a unanimous positive recommendation of Isaac's thing. And they had a public hearing for it.
No, they had a public meeting.
Sure, you're right.
It doesn't matter whether,
Public notice and notification of the butters. We had held a hearing. Yeah, anyway, I was just wondering whether it could go straight to council. But,
If they've had that and it suffices, it could go straight to council.
okay, why don't we do that?
okay. So,
Now, do you want to do that at the next meeting? Do you want to push it to June?
I would like to put it to June unless there's a time element, which Kathy will check on and see if there's any. If the petitioner has got a reasoning for it to go sooner than later, then it won't take that long, I don't believe, so we can entertain it. Amend Public Safety Commission.
I think you jumped over
Oh.
authorized mayor.
Oh, sorry, yes.
The stamp.
Authorized to sell city-owned land, Washington Street.
Yes. Now this, we had approved it unanimously. Then Councilor Lapiansky brought forward a resident who said she wanted a crack at it. We got a response from the city saying it is a legitimate lot, a buildable lot. So if she wants it, she's going to have to bid with everybody else.
Okay, so then
We will probably send it right back to the council with the same.
okay.
Yeah.
And is it correct that it's a buildable lot with an affordable stipulation
right.
attached?
That's right. Yeah.
So that's a good,
So are we leaving it on your agenda or taking it off?
We'll leave it on the agenda and probably forward it right on.
Okay.
do you want this to appear in May or June?
I think it could be pushed till June.
Okay, put it in June. A&O.
I guess so we will cancel this meeting this month and then we will just push. The only two things we have are the dog bite ordinance, which I did look over and I have some thoughts on. And, sorry, it's my grandma calling me. And the only other one is the Public Safety Commission updated version, which, I was able to meet with the mayor and read over the public review process that they've proposed. So it would actually be good to push that one till June because that'll give time for the rest of the committee to read it before the meeting.
All right, thank you. And then if anything comes out of, other things that have come from the public and they find their way to you, we can take a look at it in June.
Yeah, there was two, the ordinance about the gas powered thing.
Right.
I will reach out to Garth about that.
There's some, the petitioner sheet and all that's been sent to us, so you have that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll reach out to him about that. And then I received another email about ordinance for banning crisis pregnancy centers in Greenfield too, which I guess other East Hampton just did maybe. So I'll reach out to that person who sent me an email.
I don't think the office has received
You
anything.
guys didn't get that? It might have been just.
I don't think so.
Me. I'll forward it.
Did you say banning?
Banning crisis pregnancy centers, yeah. So they're like places that say they're alternatives to like pregnancy, but they're not offering alternatives to pregnancy. They're just,
Okay, I understand.
I'll forward you the stuff. I'll forward you.
Are there such a thing?
We do have one, which was news to me.
And Marianne, remember, any of this stuff that comes doesn't always need to go as an ordinance. It just needs to be looked at, and discussed, to see if there's a council that wants to bring it forward or not, because it doesn't, you can be invited, but you don't have to accept, it's all about, All right. Greenfield Charter 7778 Ad Hoc Committee. No one's here is on that committee. I will reach out to David and get a update on how we think that's progressing or what have we. Okay. All right. Community Relations is canceled. Ways and Means, which is going to be the bulk of what we talk about for a little while. Okay, before we get into the operating budget, I talked to Ginny today. I talked to Chris in passing today. I would like to add to the council agenda a motion to accept the Act of 1987. As we all have seen in the letter from the mayor, in the charter, it references GL chapter 4432 and then ends. It doesn't make mention of section 2 of chapter 329 of the Acts of 1987. In Kathy's research, and we're taking a look at this to make sure we're all on the same page, it might behoove us to accept the act so there's no question to whether it's been accepted. There's two thoughts here, and I don't want to debate it here. One thought is because it's referred to in the charter, it could be precedent, has gone both ways. And I talked to people today that said the redundancy would also be okay, even if it's already
Go for redundancy.
in the chat. It's better to go with redundancy, and that came from some sources of counselors, former counselors that are attorney that said the redundancy is not bad. It would dispel this confusion that happens from time to time. If we say not only is it referred to in the chapter, but we also have voted to accept. If we choose to accept, it'd be a vote. So that would be, I would like to see that on our agenda in May before we start the budget.
Is there some language to look at there?
Yeah, this time to.
Tons.
Yes, and
My computer?
Yes.
Okay.
there should be some email. from the-
There's a letter from the mayor with,
It was on Sunday.
the mayor had a similar question, and it sent it out to the city attorney, who gave a opinion on whether that is applicable. I also have received some requests from counselors since Sunday, and I think I will entertain the notion of getting a second opinion from an attorney representing the council. Is there any objection
No,
to
I
that from any
definitely
of
think we
you?
should be doing that.
Is that
for sure.
acceptable? We'll just ask the same question to an opinion to another council attorney.
Are we allowed to discuss this a little bit here, or is it just,
It's not really.
okay?
What I have to do is, if we follow our procedure, I can get feedback on entering hiring an attorney. That's all we're doing is, and then sending out. We can talk about the language of what we're asking. But, and then regardless of that opinion or the one we've already received, I would like to see this on the agenda for May.
I agree. Does it have to go through, is there like a special procedure? Does it have to go through a committee? It doesn't have to go through a committee.
It does not.
Okay.
Because it's really, the way to look at this, it's a maintenance piece. This is kind of like we've said with everything. It was, if you read the charter, they make a reference to it. So it was perceived that it was already a part of the charter.
Yeah.
We can't find where it was, that word was ever accepted, even though some feel that the acceptance is the reference in the charter. So there's where we're overlapping. So to make it clean, remember, I think Marlowe says it's the best. If there's a gray area, we want to clean it up and make it, so this is one of those areas where some think it's covered and some think they don't. If we are redundant and we vote it and we vote in the affirmative, then going forward, this will never be a question again.
I understand that. Thanks.
So, and obviously, I believe we have to take this on prior to starting the budget because if there's anything related, and
But it doesn't need a public hearing or,
Nope.
okay.
it's not.
Great.
I checked on that, or I've been working on this and I've had conversations independently with people, starting with Kathy from early in the week and I, trying to get there's multiple opinions on this, and the best way is, I feel, is to be specific, and the redundancy does nothing but eliminate that area where,
And then if procedurally, if 9 vote, it can't be vetoed.
No,
no, it can always be
It can
vetoed.
always be vetoed.
But if it comes back after a veto, it takes,
14 days, I think, the mayor
Right.
has 14 days to veto,
right, and then the vote is,
10 business.
and then,
and then the vote goes on the next, if the veto is received, she has to submit it with a letter explaining why the veto was vetoed. And then it goes on the next council agenda. If I may.
Yes.
Also point out, so if the council votes to accept the MGL at the annual budget meeting and then votes the budget based on that vote,
Yeah,
my question is, if the mayor vetoes
this-
that
yeah,
MGL,
this is where.
then what happens to the budget?
Yeah, this is where it's this is a chess like, so I'm like, what's the?
and I don't want to get into a debate here anymore.
Right.
What I want to say is, if we get an opinion between now and then from the second attorney opinion that is a difference of opinion or the same opinion, it will not hurt us to have this on the agenda anyways, because even if it's redundancy, if it doesn't make any effect, it's not going to, what we're doing can't work in a negative. It can only work in a positive.
So my question's for Kathy, it's technical. Can the council call a special meeting to override a veto?
And
I want to say I
think-
don't think so, but please let me look.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with that question and the question of what happens to the budget, which I don't need an answer to in this meeting, but if you find out in the next week, can you just send it to all of us so that we can know what the follow-ups are?
Yeah.
I think the debate will then become, if it's redundant, then that's why we want an opinion, because then precedent takes place and all of that, because we have in the past taken money and put it into schools. We have done.
Absolutely.
It has happened in this municipality. I've been on the council where it's not been allowed and it's been allowed, and now it was questioned whether it was allowed. And then Kathy did some research in 21 on the same question, and that's where the discovery was made that as far as 21, we couldn't find the word acceptance of the Act of 1987. So that's where we're just trying to make sure that we're covered. But if there was, and I don't want to debate any of this, but if there was a veto to come down, it would not be an end all stops all, because the budget would still be the budget. Because if we were voted on something that was just a redundancy, then prevailing law would already be there. So you can't veto that because we've already done this before. So it becomes a bit of a interesting situation, because then we would have to look at, then we would really have to know if it was redundancy or not.
Yeah.
Which would be good for everyone to read that session law, which is very similar, just so you know.
Yeah. So read the charter section, for all of you to take a look at that.
Yep.
And then this will give clarity in the future, but it's the present that needs to be determined. So moving on from that, so we will work in the.
Is it okay if I read this? If the mayor disapproves a measure, the mayor shall return the measure with a specific reason for such disapproval attached thereto in writing to the city council. The council shall enter the objections to the mayor on its record, and no sooner than 10 days, nor after 30 days from the date of its return to the city council, shall again consider the same. If the city council, notwithstanding such disapproval by the mayor, shall again pass the order, ordinance, or resolution, or vote by 2/3 vote, the council, of the full council, it shall then be deemed in force. So council meeting is on the 17th. votes go to the mayor on the 19th, because it's after the reconsideration period. The mayor would then have the 10th day would be May 2nd,
June.
June 2nd.
correct? June 2nd. From June 2nd, the council would have 10 days. 10 days by the charter are working days. That would be, the first day would, I think, be the 5th, because it wouldn't include the day that it was submitted if the mayor waited until May 2nd. So the 5th, June 16th would be the 10th day,
And our meeting is going to be the 7th.
21st. So you would be within the window
Yeah,
for your June council meeting to reconsider a veto.
Okay.
However, we need to keep in mind that that's awful close to the end of the fiscal year. And if I can take it one step further, we then will have to look at the requirements of when the council would need to vote the budget by in the charter. And if all
Which
of
is June.
these, I think it's June 2nd, how all these things line up. So I'm not sure.
And there's a lot of coulda.
I would like to point out that I think that, following all of those laws, the exact rules, the budget was actually late coming out.
So the,
Which there is language in the.
there is also language in the
law
charter.
that if this budget did not come out on time, which
So-
it did not, we could write it.
So let's, obviously there's a lot of could've, might happen, in this, there's, as we're talking about, obviously it would have to be vetoed. There's no saying that this would be vetoed. It would, so there's that. The other thing that I wanted to say is I was talking from the side of redundancy on this, Mary Ann, in specific, when I was talking about the other part that was pointed out to me is precedent doesn't work in some of these things. I love precedent. I talk about it all the time. But when it comes to MGLs, it gets a little messy because just because you don't get caught speeding doesn't mean that it's legal to speed. It just means you weren't caught at the time. So it doesn't mean because we did it once, and if it was in error, we can't repeat the error once it's been brought to our attention. So that's why we want to balance this out. Just to give the other side, because I was talking kind of from the redundancy side, but if it isn't redundant, we never accepted it and we're in error, then there's that piece too. That just because we did it once or twice, we've probably done it 50 times, but I don't know that,
Yeah, go ahead.
but to Ginny's point, does the fact that the budget came to us late give us an extra month or not?
Couple of days.
No, because we'd only got it a couple days late, right? So we would just push it.
So,
Budget's supposed to be done by June 2nd?
so
Based on-
charter says no later than 90 days before the start of the city's fiscal year, the mayor shall submit a budget to the city council. We received the budget on April 3rd, which was a Monday. The 90th day was Sunday, April 2nd. So should it have been submitted Friday prior, or is Monday? Okay, charter says 90 days. What was the second part of it?
When would it?
Oh, does it give us extra time? So the June 2nd date is based on the April 3rd date of receipt.
So maybe April 5th, June 5th.
June 5th.
No, 90 days before July 1st is April 2nd.
Oh, okay.
We have to, council needs to approve within 60 days after, 60 days. Yeah, I can type. Sixty days after, sorry. 60 days after April 3rd, question mark, is Friday, June 2nd.
I just wanted to point out, I was not referring just to the charter here, but since we're going back to all of these mass general laws, if the budget is not presented to us in time by Massachusetts, by MGL, the city council actually may present a budget.
So because we have a budget.
I just am saying that, I mean,
Charter, we do not have to follow Mass General Law for budget. Because we have a process.
which, anyway, I'm just saying, we're referring back to Massachusetts general law and the charter.
On this thing, before we move on, the other thing too is I was thankful that this was brought to our attention now and not the night of the budget, because then we could have had a scramble on our hands. You know, right now we're getting opinions and we're getting, it could have been a lot worse if we found out the day we were voting the budget and that we wouldn't have been able to put this on the agenda completely. It would have been just a complete nightmare. So we have time to work it out. We have time to be either redundant or official or correct. And that's the word that we want to do this right. And that's, I think, by being redundant or making sure that it was done, that'll be it. All right, moving forward, Councilor DeSorger, now that we're on to there, let's look at your page to bottom. Ways and Means, deliberations on the operating budget. So you have a meeting tomorrow, and that's the stuff that's on tomorrow's budget on your meeting.
The agenda for the meeting.
Yeah. General fund. Anything. I look at this paper version. I just have, it's,
Right.
that's tomorrow's agenda for you. Everything look correct.
Oh, right, we're going to do.
This is,
Yes, we will do this. We will do all of that.
and then this is our regular meeting. So this is tomorrow. All of this is the water enterprise, sewer enterprise, GSET, enterprise fund. All of that's tomorrow on your agenda. And then Ways and Means for Tuesday, May 16th, which is
Day before
the day before our regular, you have all the CPA stuff. You'll review the CPA the day before our meeting,
Yep.
and that gives you time to
Yes.
do that piece. Anything else? We'll look at the regular agenda here. Anything from you, Jenny, that I'm missing or you're missing, or
No,
obviously it's budget and we know that.
So I know you already know this, I'm just gonna, when you go through the operating budget, if you plan on making reductions, you have to make reductions to a specific line, either salary or expenditures.
yes.
Maybe the day after the meeting-ish, if the Ways and Means is going to make recommendations with specific reductions, it may be good to include in the council packet those recommendations.
Okay.
We can possibly add a column to the Excel spreadsheet that shows the Ways and Means recommendations. But we can
Sure. Okay.
work that out.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and even though it's a quick turnaround, I think it's important that we,
Right. That would be nice.
I think clarity would be good.
Yes.
it's a city clerk report.
But nomination papers are available in case anyone would like to take papers out for council, school committee, assessor, mayor, yada, yada, yada.
We are seeing papers being taken out.
We are. We
I
have a few for mayor, few for at large, precinct 1 counselor, a school committee,
So papers are out and being signed. I know I've signed a couple this week. For anybody out there, this is your time. Step right up. No waiting.
Step right up.
And you're next. All right. Let's talk about the draft. So we have the motion for reconsideration. We also have the exception of 1987.
You want that to be second?
Yeah, I think we need to go with the motion for reconsideration first. Was there another
Yeah.
thing we were putting in here?
Yes.
Oh, to waive the agenda, to waive the,
That would come before the motion.
yes, yep, that's got to come.
Reconsideration.
The first is the motion to suspend the rules of procedure.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris. I knew I had three. Why can I only remember two? So we waived the order, we reconsider the motion, and then we introduce 1987. Okay. The surplus property, we're not going to take that from the table, right? We're going to move that to June.
That's June. And then the second one also.
Yep, June. Amend the Public Safety Commission,
That's still an A and O.
that's still an A and O, that's not there. Mayor appointment, what did we decide? Did we say we're gonna?
You can take them right out to floor if there's a time.
Yeah, that's what we said. We're just gonna go to the floor and not take it up at all. That was our,
Yep.
and so we'll take it up. That's a good
That'll
place
be
for
on
it.
May.
Yep, we can put that there. The liquor license, I'll give Phil,
We're going to push it to.
we're gonna push it to June unless there's a time constraint, and you can add it back on with no objection to me. You can work with Kathy on that. It's just in case there's something. The MOU, we're going to move to June. And then we'll do all the CPAs next, Jenny. Is that how you'd like to see that? So we'll do CPAs next.
On
that whole
the May
block.
agenda.
On the May agenda, yep.
Yep.
It's financial, some are connected to budget, there's some overlap. Let's do that then. And then we go right into the operating budget. General fund budget. And then all the enterprises. Then we have a draft for the 18th if we, and Kathy, can you make sure that when we post this meeting that we have the hard time close?
For the 17th.
Yes.
And I remember the hard time being 11, is that correct?
It's 11 or 11:30 and I don't recall, but just either I just want the public to know that we have a hard time close, that it's not us being,
11 PM or last discussion item?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11 PM or last discussion item,
Okay.
because we're not going to stop in the middle of a section because the time clicks to 11. First readings, those are the ones, Ginny will take care of those at the end of the night so we can get those for the next.
Okay.
Anything else that we're missing? And I just want to be upfront with any of the public or any of these things we're pushing to June, even some of the stuff that we would never move. I don't want anyone like the MOU. I don't want people to think it's not important to us or not a priority. We just have to get this budget discussion at prime time, so we're fresh and we're talking about it at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, not midnight.
Yeah. Public comment will still be on the agenda.
Yes.
Are you going to go for 3 minutes or 2 minutes?
I recommend that we go for 2 minutes, but that would be, that's up to, the point I've made before is sometimes people ask me, can we limit it tonight? And I don't ever want to limit it without notice to the public, because if someone takes the time, when we answered the person that
With the resolution?
with the resolution, could you send that resolution information all to Mary Ann also?
We will send it to the full.
Yeah, and make sure Mary Ann gets it from, because if that goes further, that resolution can be looked at through A&O as a guide. It's something else that just popped up from Stony Burnham and a Gill selectman working together. They have an idea and they want to come talk to us
Okay.
on the 17th. And we recommended that in that,
I do have a couple
in
of
that email,
copies I brought.
in that email return,
You want some?
in that email return, we said 2 minutes. So just,
Do you want one? It's going to be emailed, so you don't have to have one, but.
I always lose these. So is there anybody, public comment? What do we do? Do we leave it at 3 minutes or do we try to reduce it just to get through to the budget sooner? I'll leave it to.
I am always in favor of public comment, but I do think we should reduce it to 2 minutes. Last meeting, we didn't start our actual meeting until like 8:40.
That was early.
And that was early considering. So, and I do have the sense that we're going to have a lot of public comment next month, this month.
So I'm always reluctant to, I feel kind of this way about it, about the 3 minutes, but I do agree with what you're saying. And I will add that I have an expectation that a lot of people that have been very good about coming to our Ways and Means meetings and our council meetings and saying what they wanted to say will also come to this meeting and say the same things. I don't know as if there will be differences, but people need a right to speak.
Oh, yes.
So in the interest of trying to get our business done, I mean, public comment could take 2 hours. We've seen it take 2 hours. And this way it would only take an hour and a half.
I wonder whether you could look and see what the size of the list is.
Yes.
Well, no, what, I'll tell you why I don't like that. If someone prepares a statement for 3 minutes long and I say that night, sorry, everybody, we're only allowing 2 minutes tonight. Then people say, oh, I wrote this and I worked on it. If they know going in that it's 2 minutes, then they know it's 2 minutes and I don't feel as guilty.
And how would they know going in?
Because we'll post it.
We could put it on the agenda in parentheses.
2 minutes
2
and
minutes.
make an announcement that we're limiting it to get through the budget.
Well, then
process.
I would say that, like we were talking about with our 11 o'clock curfew on our business
Yeah.
items, that basically everybody gets 2 minutes, but they have one more sentence they can.
Yeah, 2 minutes or they can finish their sentence.
Yes.
Yeah. When the beeper goes off, I will tell you, when the beeper goes off, that's 3 minutes. And you will see, I let that thing beep and then I say, thank you.
3 times, I set it off.
Good at being like, you're done.
I hate to be rude and I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't like when people go
No,
a half a
good.
paragraph after. I try to let everyone be heard, but so I would recommend 2 minutes for this budget meeting or someone's finishing their sentencing.
I think you had a very good point about when somebody prepares, because I've actually done that before I was a city councilor. I'd sit down there with a timer on the stove to make sure I was 3 minutes, and then I'd come and they'd say 2. But I just have one thing to say about that. We are all going to know here, and so are the 6, 7 people. And Kathy said she put it somewhere, but I'm hoping that the paper picks that up. You announce it on the radio.
I can
that
get
people
it.
would know that it's going to be
It's
2 minutes
news.
because
It's
it is.
news.
It's news. It should be to people because this is going to be a bumper crop meeting, and I'd like everybody to know ahead of time it's 2 minutes.
I don't mix the two, my council position and
but-
my news, but I know
The guy that works there, I'll call him tomorrow.
I can ask, it'll be part of the news story, both the 11 o'clock hard stop and the 2 minutes. Okay,
Yes, and I
I'll get
think the
that
paper
added.
should get that also. It
Yeah,
gives some money left
she'll
in our budget.
be great about it. If she's on tonight,
I don't see them on tonight, so.
if not, we'll get them.
Thank you.
They'll hear it on the radio. Moving on,
Okay.
is there anything else?
Well, speaking of publicity, we do have a big issue coming up at the public hearing on next Tuesday. This property rezoning, and it's not in the minutes here. It's got kind of lost. I'm afraid no one's going to come. Is it okay if I call the paper and say, plan this?
Of course. You can also send a press release out anytime from a council position. If it's really a press release and not an opinion. piece, then it can't be called a council press release.
And that public hearing is gonna be hybrid so that people can call it, but were people gonna be able to speak?
Yep.
Okay, great. That's what I want. Thank you.
Is there anything else? We have a lot going on. Ginny, anything that I'm missing? You know, Ways and Means is really the show for the next
Right.
6 weeks.
Yes, I'm good.
Okay.
What do you mean 6 weeks?
No, a few more weeks, just.
Like 3.
I know. Say that already started 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Kathy's making dinner.
I'm scaring you.
That's right.
I actually have this.
And I did look at my calendar and I told Kathy and I told Chris, Chris will be chairing both the chairs meeting in June and the council meeting in June. I will be away for that whole period of time.
Before you leave, can I get the dates that you're
Yep.
out?
Yep. And so Chris will be taking care of both that chairs meeting in
Running
June.
the show.
So that's why I was moving everything to June. No.
Fill off that agenda.
In all honesty, yeah, I just wanted to be, because the first Tuesday in June is not till the second week. That's, the 1st of June is a Wednesday.
Oh, right. So it's the 7th is gonna be the chair.
Yes.
Okay, I will be remote. I'm out of town for work.
That's fine. Remote is welcome.
So it's the 7th. That's what threw me off. I was thinking it'd be the first week like normal, and it's
Right.
not. It's the second week. Yeah. So, anything else? I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:56 PM.
Seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstentions. We adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I was out of here.